Okay, what's going on, guys? As you're probably aware of, the pro event was over the weekend. I'm going to go through a few games, actually still going on right now. But this is the first qualifiers. I want to go over some few key tips that the pro players use, easy ways to score goals that you can take back home into your own gameplay. The first I want to go over is the goal that was scored against Tech. It's very, very interesting. It's something that you're seeing more and more. It's becoming more prevalent on the pro scene, especially I would say amongst even the casual players now is the first time lob through ball. Now it's very, very simple. How it's done is when the ball is given towards the player does a first L1 triangle. Now it might seem easy for this player to make this run in behind, but it's not exactly as easy because what you have to do is you have to trigger this player as well. So before the ball actually arrives to players, you can see, for example, like here, the left analog stick is facing up and it's the L1 button or LB. And you're basically saying to the game, I want you, this player, to make a run it behind. So L1 is pressed, so this player starts making a run it behind. Then you can see Mbappe starts pointing his hand going forward, then making that run, whoever that player is. Then, of course, before the ball arrives, it's the first time L1 triangle. In fact, I've already broken this down on my Patreon, so where you can see the full video on how exactly this works, how to time it perfectly every single time for a T. But as you can see, it just breaks through, allows a player to run through, and it lets you basically your opponent. The only way you can defend against this is if you run back in time and select your defender. But apart from that, there's no way to defend against it. But again, you can see a full explanation on my Patreon series, but it's very, very simple. You trigger the L1 button, a player makes a run, and you also do the first time lob through ball at the same 1 second after. So at the same time, the player's moving and time themselves so they stay onside. Do it a bit too late or do it a bit too early, the player could be offside. So make sure you check out that Patreon video. Do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you join my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many, many years and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos are on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics to the meta so you can get better as a whole with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes the meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/Nil Guides. We're going to go over another one here. It's the K1 John game. That is actually a fantastic goal. You can also learn this on my Patreon series. I've been using this since the game came out. You might have seen me do it from corners when the game came out. It's those first time power shots. Now, not only do you release a devastating shot, it's almost undefendable because if the timing is right, and the timing, as you can see, that's why Valverde is used a lot. It's not only because he's a top tier meta player. We all know he's got some of the best box to box all around stats. But it's the ability to have that power shot plus play style. So you can see very, very simple. All it is when the ball is delivered, you can see here the aiming, basically pressing L1, R1. Don't my controller here that I can show you? Yes, I do. L1, R1, and the circle button, and you can see the left analog stick is aiming. One key thing over here is the benefit is because you're at the center of the goal, you actually have a bit more of a radius to aim at with your left analog stick. So it's actually easier to aim when the ball is brought back to the middle of the pitch. But you can see all it is L1, R1, circle, LB, RB, B when the ball arrives to player's feet. And you know, the best way to practice this will be take this to the arena. Go to the practice arena and try doing this a few times. You need to make sure you put the player on the Playstyle Plus. That's what gives it the oomph, because the normal player takes a bit a long time doing it. With the Playstyle Plus, not only do you have that enhanced shot when you have the power shot as it is, but of course you can time it to absolute perfection. We're going to go for another example here with Neat versus Mark 11. Now there's a couple of things I want to show you. This is actually a very interesting one. It's the L1 triangle variation, which the ball gets delivered. And you can see even when the ball is bouncing, you can still deliver that shot. I'll give you a Nil Guys top tip. If you press the R3 button, you basically flick the ball upwards. You can do a power shot. For some reason, when the ball is elevated, sometimes you get a better power shot itself. The animation beats the goalkeeper a lot better. But you can see the same thing happen over here. The ball was given to this player, and as you can see, there was no one available. But you see, this is not the first instinct. let's say, for example, this player was at this point, and let's say this player was unmarked. Let's say this player was over here. Then obviously Sun will then pass the ball into the strike, and then you basically just do, you don't even do a skill move here. Literally a left stick touch upwards would score the goal. So I just want to make it clear to you, look, although they are using these mechanics, although they are trying to force it as well, they're not taking the most obvious gameplay away. They're not aiming for it every single time. Of course, if there's an option viable, they will go the normal route. But as you can see, there's no one really to pass the ball to this player. And you can see, look here, the benefit is that player is kind of distracting, as you can see, bringing that player close. And you can see this player reacted a bit too slow. Then air balls, the air ball, this is a bit of a trick, right? Do you know how this player auto switched? It's because the ball went 6 feet high in the air. The game will switch for you automatically. But if you have it on manual, it will take some time. So maybe if the player didn't make the mistake there, it could have actually been perfect. But anyway, that's beside the point. And then you can see like the first time L1, R1. But the key thing is when you time this, you want to do it before the ball arrives to your feet. That's the mistake people are doing. So when you're doing this, Neil Guy's top tip is pass the ball from further away. That way it gives you more time. But as soon as the ball leaves a foot there, that is when you want to start queuing the L1, R1, the shoot button. And as you can see, because you're basically facing the goal, and look at this. It's actually next to the goalkeeper. Yes, you can argue the goalkeeper was brought out a little bit here with the triangle, the Y button, but you can see it's near the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's still struggling. It's not like it's going right into the top bins or top corner. You can see it's going into the corner, but it starts off very much fairly central. Here's another one I wanted to go over, and I want to talk about this one because this is actually very, very interesting, and it just shows you the difference between a pro level and a base level. It's something that you see a lot of the time. It's almost playing for the final attack. You can see, look, it's 90 minutes. It's kind of hard to play for the final attack this year because of the lack of, sometimes you can't keep the ball because of pressing and auto pressure, but you can see this is actually a very, very nice goal. But I wanted to focus on a few things here. You see, when the ball was lost, you see most people, right, at this point, they like to go forward and force the ball. You see a lot of people, they like to keep going down the wing and trying to create the play. But you can see what happens here. We're going to go towards the end, right? Just at this point. It looks like, oh, it was just perfect time, but it wasn't, okay? Nicholas, if he wanted to, could have gone forward. But this is the example of an average player, maybe something that you do at home that the pro players don't, is that they be patient, okay? Most of the time, people think you can get the ball from your defense and run straight to the attack and score. How many times have you tried doing that? Sometimes you just got to pass the ball around the box, wait for opportunity. You can see here, this is a good one. Now, this is actually very interesting. Do you see at this point, if the ball was made at this point, the player will get the ball further back. But what Nicholas does is he presses the L1 button, so this player starts making a run going forward, or it could be an AI, could be either one. And then the player gets the ball in a more advanced position. Now this forces the opponent's centre back to react as opposed to still using a CDM, because the ball was here, the CDM can get dragged down. So do you see how sometimes the importance of bringing those players forward, they seem insignificant, but this is what all the small things that the pros do. You can see, look here, takes a touch away, doesn't force the ball forward. Look, see, takes a touch away, keeping the ball safe, completely away, not doing a 45-degree angle, keeping it safe, going away from goal, distributes the ball backwards to Kevin De Bruyne. And then when Kevin De Bruyne makes the pass away, then gets the ball with Tchouaméni. And you can see what's interesting here is, look, this was a 1-2. Do you see that? This pass here, but Kevin De Bruyne was a 1-2. Now you're basically, these are the 4 attackers or 4 players or 3 players, however you want to call it. What this player is, Nicholas is doing, is using the third player, the third man, the third player, whatever you want to call it, waiting for that player to go forward. And you can see the opponent at the same time did the offside trap, bringing the player close. Now, if that was a lofted pass, maybe would have gone through, but a through ball here or regular pass would have been stopped. But with the L1 triangle, just a small fraction off is what allowed the ball to go in the air. And literally, the most important thing with this point here is to avoid the shot being a volley. If you shoot when the ball is above the player's head, the game would force a header. If the ball falls below the player's head and then you press the shoot button, then the game decides to do a volley shot. So that's just something just very, very important to understand. So when you're in these situations, you're wondering, oh, why is the game not volleying it for me? It depends on when you press the shoot button. And you can see a simple header when the goalkeeper does come out, and it's a goal to win the game in the latter stages in the final minutes. But these are just a couple of few things that pro players do inside the game. I hope you can take away and learn something. Maybe the L1 triangle, maybe the first time power shots. Again, if you're part of the Patreon series, make sure you watch the videos. We've got a 3-part series, the analysis behind it, what players are important, the timing, when you should do it, where you should aim, All that is, of course, my Patreon. So if you want to learn how to get better FC, come to my Patreon series. Patreon.com/no, guys. Trying to get faster and faster, but also get more mumble and jumble towards you every time I try to say an ad. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget links down below, or you can click right over there on the screen. Thanks for watching. Take it easy and catch you next time. Peace.